Ladies and gentlemen, I had to open up with that. I'm about an hour and 28 minutes away from being in the Cow Palace for New Japan Pro Wrestling, but I had to do the King of the Indies roundup for you, ladies and gentlemen. Last night was a very good show. There were a lot of great matches. There was a lot of good wrestling. A lot of chanting. This is awesome for. I mean, the show was awesome. It was amazing. It was some of the best wrestling I've seen live. There was a very intense women's match. A lot of wrestling on the outside. There was a great tag team match from Reno Scum and Reno Over Everything. But the King of the Indies tournament, I'm a big fan of tournaments. You know, I was an amateur wrestler in high school. Did tournaments about every weekend. I love tournaments. I love King of the Ring type tournaments. I love wrestling tournaments. I love the first round. I love the semis. I love the quarterfinals. I love a round robin, and I love the finals. So let's get right into it, ladies and gentlemen. We kick off the night pretty hot in the first round. We have Jacob Fatu, the Big Oos, going up against the All Pro Wrestling Universal Champion Jeff Cobb. At the time of this recording, Jeff Cobb has been the APW Universal Champ for about 427 days. The real Universal Champion, I might add. So yeah, it was a hard-hitting contest. Fatu and Cobb, they did the whole, not the test of strength, but the test of who's stronger with the shoulder tackles multiple times to each other. Fatu did his usual. He didn't do the flying outside the ring, which I love because of a man of his size and stature. So, but it was still really good. You know, Fatu throwing out the handspring moonsault and the big moonsaults. Jeff Cobb doing his moonsault, mocking the Uso chant. So I thought that was pretty funny. But in the end, a small package and Fatu gets the win over Jeff Cobb. And then, you know, they hug. Cobb holds his hand up, and then Cobb, you know, he chop blocks him right in the leg. And yeah, he smacks him pretty hard, too, and shoves the title in his face. So, Jeff Cobb turning heel at All Pro Wrestling. I was like, oh, I didn't see this coming. I want to see what kind of reaction he gets later on tonight when he challenges for the Never Open Weight Heavyweight Championship in Japan. Alright, match number 2. This was a very good one. Flip Gordon, a guy who could not get booked for All In. He defeated Titan. This is my first time I've ever seen Titan, ever heard of the guy. He had a traditional luchador moveset. It was fine. It was kind of like watching Flip Gordon wrestle Kalisto or something like that. It was okay, you know, Flip throwing out the 450. There were some dives to the outside of the ring. It was fine. I enjoyed it. It was a nice second match for the event. Alright, number 3. This one really surprised me. Brody King defeats the British Messiah, Timothy Thatcher. Now, I've never seen Brody King live. I've seen Timothy Thatcher live. I saw him in the garage, the APW garage, when he was the Universal Champion back in the day, like 5 years ago. So I've known Thatcher for quite some time, followed his career and evolve. I really enjoy his stuff. He's a guy I think that should be involved in the WWE's UK division or NXT UK. I think he's a guy that could really benefit from that. But moving on from that, Brody King, he's a big guy. He's not like massive. He's tall. I wouldn't say kind of chunky. He does have a little bit of a belly on him. Covered in tattoos. He's covered in tattoos, and he's a great heel. He's very good. He knows how to work his character. I thought Thatcher was going to go over, but he didn't. There was Thatcher, you know, suplexes, the real British strong style. That's a style I really enjoy to watch. Thatcher brought that to the dance. Brody King, a lot of chops, man, just vicious chops. A powerhouse. And then Thatcher, when he lost, I was like, what, really? I didn't see that, but I guess, you know, you gotta put the newer guys or the lesser known guys over. So, you know, I didn't have a problem with it. I like to be shocked at wrestling shows. But I enjoyed the match. I love seeing Timothy Thatcher live. Brody King, he's one of my new favorites. But speaking of another new favorite, this was one of the best matches of the night. It was so entertaining. Dragon Lee goes on to defeat Taguchi. Taguchi, he's one of Finn Balor's old rivals in Japan. Prince Devitt. Taguchi, he has like kind of like a quirky aura, like Shinsuke Nakamura, but the way his ring gear is, he's kind of looks like an Asian Eddie Guerrero. Dragon Lee, he has like a kind of like a Kalisto look, but I enjoy his work better than Kalisto. I'm gonna tell you that right now. The kid, he can fly, he can sell like an old school Eddie Guerrero getting beat down, as I'm gonna get into later on in the card. But yeah, this was funny. Taguchi was just running the ropes and getting tired. He tried to do a dive while Dragon Lee was outside, and Taguchi just did like a Ric Flair flop of front face bump, and that was pretty funny. But Dragon Lee eventually goes over with his it's kind of like a Falcon Arrow. Yeah, I think that's his finisher is a Falcon Arrow into a cradle, which was effective. It really worked. I enjoyed it. Uh, Brandon, he was with me at the show last night. He said Dragon Lee, he was telling me a little bit about him. I'm like, oh, okay. He asked me to know who he was. I'm like, I probably saw a match of his or two. I remember the name. I just didn't put the name with the person. But now I know who he is, and I'm going to be looking up his stuff quite a bit. All right, that was the end of the first round. Then we get to the semifinals, and we have Flip Gordon kind of shock the crowd and go over Jacob Fatu. He went over the Big Oos. That was very interesting. It was a shocking decision because they've invested so much time in Fatu, putting the All Pro Wrestling Internet title on him, letting him have a nice little run with that, and letting him go over their head champion earlier on in the night. But I know I get it. Flip's the bigger star, the bigger name. So I mean I enjoyed it. Flip Gordon and Jacob Fatu, they had a really great match. Fatu, amazing athleticism as always, really playing the powerhouse game. He had an incredible Samoan drop on Flip Gordon. Flip did an amazing moonsault, did an amazing 450. Flip has a really nice super kick. I really enjoy that. I really enjoy when he kicks a guy in the kneecap or the thigh. They go down, then he does a super kick to their head. I really enjoy that. That's a nice little moveset of Flip Gordon's, a nice little exchange that he does that I really enjoy. That was great. Alright, moving on from that. Dragon Lee defeats Brody King. Now, don't get me wrong, I believe this might have been the longest match on the card. I'm not exact. Actually, no, I think the main event was longer. But Dragon Lee, he goes on to defeat Brody King, and this was the real David versus Goliath type feel. Brody King, he was beating him down, man. So many chops. Like I felt like Dragon Lee's heart stopped at one point because the chops they were vicious. They were very vicious. But Dragon Lee gained us a couple bursts of energy. Hit some amazing tope con hilos on the outside. Then he just kept getting beaten down and beaten down. And then I think he did the Tree of Woe stomp that Alberto Del Rio uses as a finisher. He did that to end Brody Lee. This match was it was hard hitting. It was dramatic. I was in awe. I was on the edge of my seat. It was very well done, executed beautifully. It was amazing. I truly enjoyed everything about it. It was something special. It truly was. All right, then we take a break from the tournament for a second, and we get into some women's action. Taya Valkyrie, Lucha Royalty. She's on Lucha Underground, Impact Wrestling. She's the wife of John Morrison, Johnny Nitro, Johnny Impact, Johnny Mundo, whatever you want to call him. So yeah, Taya Valkyrie, she was going up against Nicole Savoy. You may remember Nicole Savoy from the Mae Young Classic. She's from Sacramento, so she's kind of a hometown girl in some respect. Nicole Savoy was defending the Pro Wrestling Revolution Women's Championship. The match ended in a no contest, which I was like, you can't have Valkyrie losing to Savoy, I guess, and then you can't have Savoy just drop the championship. So I get it. They spent a lot of time on the outside. The ref really just had a lot of leeway with this one. There was a recurring spot where Nicole Savoy is beating down Taya, and then Taya's just sitting on a lot of guys' laps and just getting chopped. And I hope those guys didn't get a little excited, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I mean this was really hard hitting. There were a lot of really hard hitting chops, a lot of punches, and there was one moment in the match I thought was interesting or funny. One fan, because fans like to take over the show. They like to hijack it. They like to put themselves over. One guy said, "Hit her again, eh?" And I can't exactly make out what she said, but I think she said, "We take offense to that, so don't fucking say that." And then she went back to work. So I thought that was actually pretty funny, because I don't believe Canadians say "a" all the time. I think that's just a pathetic stereotype. But yeah, I mean, congratulations to both girls. I really enjoyed the match. I didn't get a chance to talk to either of them at the show, so hopefully I get to see Ty again sometime in the near future. I believe I'll be seeing Nicole Savoy again, so I can talk to her about that match. And I want to interview Nicole Savoy. I really enjoy her work. I was watching an interview she had with Ambi, and I found out she has an obsession with Pop Tarts, so I thought that's interesting. That'd be an interesting part of an interview to find out why she loves Pop Tarts. But I mean, Pop Tarts are good. You gotta have your tarts. All right, one of the best tag team matches I've ever seen. Reno Scum. They defeat Reno Over Everything, and Reno Over Everything consists of the Chocolate Poppy Striker. His last name's escaping me at the moment. I apologize. And his tag team partner Carl Fredericks. I've interviewed him multiple times on this podcast. Really good guy, great performer. Yeah, Reno Scum, Adam Thornstowe, and Luster the Legend. They become 3-time All Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champions. There were super kicks. I believe Adam Thornstowe did a Superman punch, better than Roman. Luster the Legend, he's a giant man. He did a Tope Suicida. The match starts with Striker and Fredericks on the outside making their entrance, and Adam, he just had enough of it and did a Tope con Hilo outside of the ring over the post, which was beautiful. It was excellent. Carl Fredericks has an amazing Swanton Bomb. It looks flawless. And then he does a beautiful Tope con Hilo in mid-match as well. The Chocolate Poppy, he's a really good heel. He knows how to work the crowd. And his entrance music is a Bobby Brown song, so I pop for that every time he's in singles action. But yeah, I mean, this was a great match. I'm never disappointed with anything Reno Scum does, or the Chocolate Poppy, or Carl Fredericks. So for all four of those guys, congratulations. That was an amazing match. I want to see where Carl Fredericks goes. He's been their internet champion. He's held their tag titles. I can see him winning their Universal title, being their guy, winning the Triple Crown there. I know he wrestles in Championship Wrestling from Hollywood a lot, so he could possibly. I talked to him last time in one of the last interviews I did about winning their Heritage title. So I think that'd be really interesting to see. And I'd love to get Reno Scum on the pod, talk about how they got together, their time and impact, and what they see for their future. I think that'd be really amazing. And then there was a promo from Marcus Mack. He's the promoter for All Pro Wrestling. And then the Pro Wrestling Revolution promoter, his name is escaping me at the moment as well. So yeah, they had a promo talking about how King of the Indies is going to become a year-long thing. And they talked about the Vision, Roland Alexander, who was the founder and former promoter of All Pro Wrestling. He unfortunately passed away a couple years ago. They talk about how he had a vision for this back in 2001, and I believe Daniel Bryan was a part of that inaugural tournament. I know he was a part of the King of the Indies. I can't remember exactly which year, but yeah, they say that's going to become a year-long thing, and I'm excited. I'd love to go to every King of the Indies show every year. The amount of talent they can get is unprecedented. The different matchups that you probably never thought you'd get to see. I'd love for something like that. That's why I enjoy tournaments, whether it's like the UK tournament or a Mae Young Classic or the Cruiserweight Classic or something like the King of the Indies. I enjoy tournaments. I enjoy, like I said, finals and all that stuff. So it's gonna be something amazing to see. I enjoy All Pro Wrestling. Shout out Marcus Mack for really revitalizing professional wrestling in the Bay Area, and the Pro Wrestling Revolution promoter as well. I'm gonna have to find out his name. I don't think I've ever been to one of their shows. I'd love to go. I'd love to see what they're all about. When pro wrestling does well, the business does well as a whole. When one promotion does very well. All right, and the finals. Dragon Lee defeats Flip Gordon. This was amazing. Flip was getting chopped like nobody's business. Like at the end of the match, like his collarbone was meat red. You could see the fingerprints. You could see the blood. It was hard hitting. It was fast paced. A lot of spots. Spots live are amazing. I know some people are on that spot or the dive headlock controversy. I do sometimes prefer a technical classic myself, but it was okay for this one since they're both high flying guys. Flip Gordon, he went for his 450 splash and it didn't get the job done. I was very shocked. Dragon Lee and him went about 5 more minutes, and they really tore the house down. Probably the best match of the night. The finals were amazing. Dragon Lee hits that Falcon Arrow to put him away and become the King of the Indies winner for 2018. He got a very well reception. I think there were about maybe 1,000 people in that gymnasium or community center. I think they had about 1,000 people. It was a very good night. I really enjoyed it. During intermission, Brandon and I saw a group of people kind of like 5 feet away from us in like a big huddle. I'm like, what are they doing? And we look over and like, oh, Dave Meltzer's there. So yeah, Dave Meltzer, he was at the show, you know, taking it in. And then funny stories. So after Brandon and I normally go to Denny's, we go to the same Denny's in San Francisco all the time. And he's like, what if Meltzer's here? I'm like, he's probably not. And then we see Big Dave running into the Denny's, and Brandon chopped me like he was Ric Flair, and I was Ricky Steamboat from Chi-Town Rumble in '89. It was just, it hurt. He broke some skin. It did not feel good. But ladies and gentlemen, I think that's going to wrap up my King of the Indies podcast. Very successful night for All Pro Wrestling and Pro Wrestling Revolution. Congratulations to all those guys and the girls. They put on one hell of a show. Like I said, I'm on my way to the Cow Palace for New Japan. Now, how do I think this is going to go? I mean, the Podfather would say, I don't care about their U.S. expansion, and if Cody doesn't win, I'm going to riot. But the man behind the character thinks this is going to be a very good show. I did watch some of the press conferences from yesterday. Cody, this is about not only the championship and becoming the leader of the Bullet Club. This is about proving to people that he can go to work from bell to bell, like his bell to bell time. He can really get the job done. And I believe if Cody Rhodes wins the IWGP Heavyweight title tonight, he will be the first person in history to hold the Ring of Honor and IWGP Heavyweight titles. And now people might say AJ Styles, but AJ Styles was never the ROH Heavyweight Champion. He was their pure champion back in 2006. So that'd be very interesting to see. I think it's going to be a very good show. We're going to see Haku and Tama Tonga and Tongaloa, the Gorillas of Destiny. I love those guys. I'm going to get to see the Bucks. That's going to be very interesting. Kenny Omega. I was reading some tweets when they had that Australian show, that show in Australia a couple months ago. And this one fan, a couple fans took to Twitter, but this one really stuck out to me. This guy said, I wasn't on the Kenny Omega hype. I thought he was all hype. I thought he was overrated. And then he saw him live, and he believed the hype. He became an Omega fan. So maybe that's gonna happen for the Podfather tonight. Maybe he's gonna silence this critic. You know, Big Dave's probably gonna give him 9 stars for tonight. You don't know. You're gonna see Kazuchika Okada. You're gonna see Naito. I became a fan of Naito's after Wrestle Kingdom 12. I thought he did an amazing job. Tranquilo. I'm tranquilo today. I feel it. You know, people are hoping for a Jericho run-in. Obviously, that's not going to happen because we're on U.S. soil. But again, New Japan, they announced they're going over. They're having a show in Los Angeles in September. So I don't know what that's going to do. Maybe Cody wins tonight and then Kenny takes it back in September. That way he can have it for what I believe is going to be Kota Ibushi versus Kenny Omega for the IWGP Heavyweight title at Wrestle Kingdom in January. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to get out of here. It's been a pleasure talking to you, and my recap of the NJPW show is going to be uploaded either later on today or tomorrow, or I don't even know when this is going to be uploaded. But thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Bulletcast for life.